And we can all achieve so much more when we work together than we ever could on our own. And that's really XYZ Mandate. That's what we've been working towards for the last 5 or 6 years, is really championing collaboration and driving the positive evolution of financial advice. So being able to have this environment where advisors can turn up and learn something new, share something of value, and leave that space having improved their professional lives and done so in a way that's far quicker than they ever could by trying to do it on their own that's the reason we do what we do.
Welcome to episode 42 of the Innovating Advice Show. I'm joined by Emily Blanch, Head of Platform Experience at XYadvisor in Australia, which is a social network for the best advisors around the world to share and learn from each other. In this episode, we're chatting about technology and processes that amplify the human element, how sometimes the smallest acts have the biggest impact, and building a community for your clients. We also chat about the great stuff happening at XYadvisor, including how I will be using it to bring listeners together, and what's coming up next for XY and the global community. Links and show notes at innovatingadvice.com/episode 42. You're listening to the Innovating Advice Show, and I'm your host, Kate Holmes, bringing you the global pulse on financial services innovation, featuring financial planners, financial advisors, and related professionals from all corners of the globe. Let's dive in. Good day, Emily. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Kate. Thank you. It's great to be here.
And I appreciate you joining me all bundled up. It's cold down there in Australia and warm here in the desert in Las Vegas. But isn't that the beauty of technology, being able to connect around the world like this?
I know. I'm vicariously living through your summer months, and you're warming me up. But yeah, the temperature has definitely dropped. I'm in Sydney in Australia. But you know what? I actually really enjoyed the change of season. And it was actually being in Canada and the US that taught me that. It was, I fell in love with the fall and spring coming out of winter with all the wildflowers. I've really taken it as a time to, winter's all about rest and digest and slowing down a little bit. So I have really come to appreciate the change in season. So I'm here with a scarf and a jumper on, but it's all good.
Oh, I love that outlook. Absolutely. So, Emily, let's dive in and start with, give us a quick overview of your role as Head of Community and Platform Experience at XYadvisor.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's my title. If you look me up on LinkedIn, it's Head of Community. And what does that even mean? So, I consider myself incredibly lucky. I get to spend most days floating around on our social network and platform, talking to advisors and helping them, I suppose. So I guess really at its core, I'm there to facilitate on our platform for our community and network of financial advisors and finance professionals. And that can mean a whole different range of things. It's moderating on the platform, but it's also helping people as well and to improve their professional lives. And it changes every day, but it essentially involves looking after the different elements that sort of make up our ecosystem, I suppose. So we've got our podcast, we have the platform, we run events as well. So both online and offline. And so I really look after and facilitate all of that. But really at the core, it's spending time with the advisors and looking for ways to help them solve their problems. So the platform itself, we facilitate conversations, discussions, collaboration, and I keep my ear to the ground and I really look to understand what are advisors struggling with, what is it they want to learn more about, what do they want to know more about, and then I will go and look for ways to help them find those answers and to solve their problems.
And you do it so well, and you bring such energy and passion for it. I've been in the community for quite a while. It's super fun to watch. And when we think about some of those things that advisors are struggling with, especially on a global level, during this pandemic and however long we're sort of in this interim working remote stage, a lot of advisors still are trying to figure out, how do you work fully remote? How do you build trust online? How do you find the technology? How do you make sure you are engaging clients virtually? And so you really lead by example in everything that you do within the community and that research that you do. So give us some of those examples of starting with just how you welcome advisors into the community.
Yes, definitely. So XY Advisor, I mean, we are online predominantly. We do offline events, but 98% of the time we facilitate and do everything online. So I am very accustomed to the virtual world, and it's been interesting to watch advisors and their teams transition into remote work, as COVID-19 hit and this pandemic, and watching people pivot and adjust has been quite interesting. And those who have really thrived and have really sort of taken it and run with it, but also those who have, maybe struggled a little bit, but just kind of wondering how to best approach this transition to becoming virtual, especially when they've been so used to doing face-to-face meetings and everything. So, yeah, I mean, if we look at how XY welcomes new members to the community, I definitely want to preface by saying it's a dynamic sort of concept. It's evolved and changed a lot, especially since I've been with XY for the last nearly 3 years now. And if we take it most recently, I've actually just adapted our onboarding process to create an entire video interactive sequence. So if I look historically, if I just take it back a little bit and just the way that I approach things. So to me, I always look for an opportunity to personalize the experience. Yes. So when people join, if we go back to when we were on Facebook, we had a Facebook group, when we were just on Facebook, I should say, I would send people a message. So when they join the community, they'd get access inside. I would then send them a little Facebook message myself just to say, hey, welcome to the platform. It's great to have you here, and just ask how they came to find out about XY. I was always very keen to learn how our new members stumbled on XY, whether it was through something they saw online, maybe they followed our socials, or predominantly it was word of mouth. And so this whole process has evolved over time, but in doing these little personal interactions, I have kickstarted some amazing relationships with advisors in the network, in the community. I've been able to learn so much about them, and it's helped me to then know how I can help them down the road, or what it is that they want to learn more about. So now as it stands, we have just launched a whole new onboarding sequence in full video form. So I fully understand that advisors and just people in general, especially in this sort of new world, everyone's time poor, and we don't want to spend time scouring through our email inbox with useless emails or stuff that just isn't adding to our day. And so I took that concept and I said, okay, how can I adjust this to make sure that when someone turns up to XY, when they join this network, it's an exciting experience, it's engaging, and it shows that we really sort of value them and want to create this environment that they want to be a part of. And so basically what that looks like is a sequence of, I think, about 8 or 9 videos, and just short snippet videos, walking people through how to get the most out of their time on XY, how to utilize it, the functionality, but also in a really fun and engaging way. So it's interactive. They can opt to check out the next step. So it's a step-by-step process of, hey, welcome to the platform. Here's how you do this. Would you like to see how you do XYZ? And so it's like a choose your own adventure, but it also puts the ball in their court as well, so that if they want to watch all of the videos, then they can. If they don't, they can jump straight on in and start engaging that way. It's only just launched, so I can't circle back on any feedback at the moment. But as a comparison, just prior to that, I had created an email sequence, which was pretty much an email version of what I've just kind of walked you through now. And so people would get emails with little nuggets of how to get the most out of the platform. But what I would also do is I would actually send them a quick personalized video myself. So I would use either Bonjour, a video messaging app, or Loom, and shoot them a quick little video to personalize the experience and just say, hey, it's so great to have you here. We really appreciate you jumping on and being a part of the network. I would love to, learn how you came to find out about XY. And so, yeah, it's kind of been, like I said, a process of evolution. It's an ever-evolving thing. It's dynamic. It changes all the time. But the one thing I make sure I do is look for any opportunity to personalize the experience.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be difficult. So I use Bonjour currently. So anytime someone signs up for my newsletter, it takes like a maximum of 3 minutes from start to finish, from logging in to recording like a 50-second, totally personal video to making sure that it gets sent through. And the return on that has been huge. I've gotten, I think like 87% of the videos I've sent, I've gotten a response. And I work with advisors and planners. So they're responding saying, I've never seen something like this. This is so cool. And my instant reaction is always, I encourage you to use it with your clients and your prospects. And Emily, that's what I love about what you're doing is all of your approach to everything is stuff that advisors and planners can implement. And I know this passion that you have comes from your prior experience in, hospitality and restaurants and tourism, and you love customer service. And that's something that we need more of in advice. We get focused on the technical part so much, but you love diving into this. And I know on the platform, I saw that original thread when someone mentioned video ask. And, then you were like, I'm going to dive in, I'm going to look at this. So there's always these new tools coming out and it's impossible to keep up with it. But the whole community has an amazing resource in you because you're like, yep, somebody mentioned this. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to test it out. I'm going to make it happen. Like, it's so, so cool.
Yes, it is really cool. And that's the great thing about XY is that it's this place for collaboration. And so everyone is constantly sharing their ideas, sharing what's working, what's not working. I am a huge video advocate, massive video advocate. If you are an XY member, there is a really good chance that you have received a video from me at some point. Either a personalized welcome video, maybe it's a more generalized sort of video update on something that's happening within the community or potentially for one of our events. And it just brings that whole extra layer of human connection. And I think at this point in time, it's more important than ever to be taking every opportunity we can to bring our face in front of our clients, to share that connection, to spark that opportunity to build rapport and trust with not just our clients, but our ideal clients as well. So most recently, we hosted a digital event series, our work from home tour, and I actually presented in the last session, sort of co-presented with Andrew Rocks from XY, and we had a bunch of fun. And it was really talking about, the client experience or ways to generate new client acquisition by being different, by utilizing human connection or utilizing tech, I should say, to amplify human connection rather than replacing it. And so I've used every program there is, Bonjour, Loom, Zoom. They all have their place. And I'm more than happy to, I get asked questions about video a lot, so happy to dive into it, maybe another podcast or with anyone who wants to chat about it on XY. But it is just so powerful. Video, I can't stress enough how powerful it is and how simple it is to do, but how effective it can be. So, the difference in sending an email versus sending one with a link to a quick little video is so powerful. Like, everyone gets so many emails with just text on a page, but when you receive a video on your phone in your inbox and it's your advisor just saying, hey, Jack, just wanted to shoot this through, a quick little update, or maybe you saw something that you knew was going to benefit your client. So instead of just sending them an email, or even if it's something that is so standard, like you've got to send through your review or your fee disclosure statement or any sort of general kind of thing that just has to go out, attach a quick little video to it, personalize it, give it that spark, like put yourself in their shoes. That's how I like to do it. So I think to myself, what would I love to receive? What would make me go, wow, or what would become a memorable experience? And who wouldn't get excited about seeing a little video that It's just been quickly recorded, and it doesn't have to be perfected. I think this is where some people get a little bit confused or fall over, is that, it has to be perfect. I have to have all the lighting. I have to have the audio. I would actually argue that it's the off the cuff videos, it's the in the spare moment videos that produce more authenticity and are more real, because you're really showing your true self and you're giving a bit of your personality to them, and that sort of invites them to do the same. And it's in that we're able to just build up great amounts of rapport and trust with our clients and our ideal audience. And it's just, it's really powerful. So being able to watch advisors in XY share what's working for them and the engagement that they're receiving from doing videos, plus there's a whole list of other things that they can be doing as well. But video in particular it's incredible. The response rates have been very, very high.
Yeah. And like you said, being able to show your personality, whatever your personality is, you might be out for a walk and shoot a video on your phone while you're in the park sitting on a bench. All those little things connect you to your clients. And I've kind of been fascinated how many of those little Bonjour videos I've sent that people have then forwarded to their entire team. And I was like, oh, how interesting if this went to a client, how they might share it with their family or their friends, or be like, hey, look at my advisor. It gets the conversation going. And it's such a little bit of effort to create maximum impact, which gets me thinking about some of the other amazing things you've done, Emily. You're always, like you said, looking for those ways to say, how do I want to be wowed? And I love that it's not about, hey, we're going to do this really fancy dinner or go to this expensive restaurant. And you're like, no, what are the little things in life that, can surprise people and have absolutely the biggest impact?
Yes. So I have dubbed it the 1%ers. It's the small acts of kindness that make the biggest impact. And so it's all around, for me, it's around showing people that you value them and building trust. And this is something that I spoke about in our digital event series, is around trust. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, there is no way to fast track building trust with somebody. It just doesn't exist. If there was a way to create instant trust with somebody overnight, there would be no reason for us to go on several dates with somebody or spend months or years getting to know them before we marry them, right?
Yeah.
It would just, you'd walk up to someone and you'd say, do you want to get married? And they would say, yep, okay, let's do it. And it just, like, there's a reason that doesn't happen. It's because we can't build trust overnight. And trust also isn't built in one big act of kindness. Like, sure, that adds to it, but it's not in one giant act of kindness for somebody that you can build incredible amounts of trust where you become their rock or their go-to person. So it's in all the little things, and it can be so easily done. So here's a great example. And I threw this out as an example, and an XY advisor actually went and did it and shared a photo of it. It was phenomenal. So I call it my postcard story. So I'll walk you through this example of what I did and how you could then transition this into an advice practice. So about 18 months ago, I was inside the Facebook group, which is where XY used to be, and I saw a post from an advisor who showed immense vulnerability and really opened up to ask if any other advisors if their confidence had really taken a hit post Royal Commission. So that's something that's there's been a real big burden for a lot of advisors in Australia. And when I saw that post, I was firstly just humbled at the fact that this advisor felt safe and comfortable enough to open up like that into our community and, to a few thousand people who he doesn't even know personally.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing that I thought of. The second was realizing that I really felt compelled to do something about this, to show the advisor that, hey, we hear you, we see you, we value you, and you are not alone in this. And so I jumped online and I ordered some postcards, and I used our design. So I used our XY colors and our logo. And I wrote on the postcard, "Remember why you started." And so I had them delivered, and the whole process was a turnaround time of about 7 to 10 days. Like, this is how quickly it happened. I received the postcards, and then I went through the original post that the advisor had made, and anyone who commented and had said that or agreed that their confidence had taken a hit, I wrote them a quick little postcard. And all I said was, "Hey, advisor," or "Hey, name, I just want to say thank you for being open and vulnerable. We really appreciated it. The rest of the community does. But I just want you to remember why you started, why you got into advice in the first place. And to also remind you that your clients, they really value you. Like, they love what you do. So please keep doing what you're doing because you are really making an impact." Yeah. And so all in all, I think I did 12 postcards, sent it to their work addresses, and I left it at that. And a few days later, the advisor who posted reached out to me, sent me a message because he knew that I had done it. And he said he was blown away. He couldn't believe that, we had gone to the length to do that, which is something so simple, right? Like, it is such a simple concept, but it made his week. And he quickly jumped on to the group, took a photo of his postcard, shared it with everyone, and told everybody how proud he was to be a part of XY and how stunned he was at the lengths that we go to make everyone in the group feel safe and supported and like they're part of something bigger. Now, that's pretty powerful stuff. And it's because I do little things like that all the time. It could be as simple as remembering or having a conversation with an advisor, remembering or hearing them tell me that they're really interested in, content marketing, or actually the best example is the advisors who join the community whose dream is to start their own business. I have literally got a whole email template built out now because I've met so many advisors who fall into this category, and I have a whole list of resources that I send to them because I know it's going to help. And it's different podcasts that I know are relative around to talking about starting your own business. It's a marketing course, or it's just connecting people. It's just introducing them to people in the community who I know have recently started a business or who are in the same boat as them, to just be able to allow them to get to hear their experiences. And that, sending that one email takes maybe 2 minutes. But every single time I send it, I get a response that says, "Oh my God, wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to dive straight into it." And then to see the end result when an advisor then posts into XY to let everybody know that they've just launched their business, like, that actually gives me goosebumps just thinking about it now, because that literally happened maybe 6 weeks ago. So that's the power of the 1%ers. It's in the small things. You do not have to do these ginormous acts of kindness to build trust. It's in the little moments, but doing it consistently. So yeah, I mean, I could share a ton of examples, but at the core of it, before I do something, or when I'm thinking about delivering an experience, or even at just any point in the client journey, have a think about, how can I be different? How can I create something that's unique, that's going to make them go, wow, or going to make them look twice? Because we all get stuck into that standard loop of, this is the way we do it because this is how it's always been done. But I would love to challenge anyone listening, any advisors, to look at your client journey, look at the process that you take your clients through, and have a think about, where could I shake things up a little? Whether it's in the email, the welcome onboarding email, or maybe it's around the review time. Like, where could you do something that's going to be different but memorable, that they're just going to really value and love you for?
Yes, absolutely. And that's one of the things I always encourage advisors to do as well, is almost like secret shop themselves in a way, and think about the entire experience, from even how is a prospect going to find you? What do they see online? What does your website say? Is it engaging? Does it show personality? How does it feel to onboard? What does that entire process feel like? And then just think, like you said, like, how does this make me feel? Like, am I wowed at any point? Is this the experience that I would want as the client? And it is powerful. And absolutely, I just did a presentation in South Africa, well, I guess virtually last week, and it was all about, anytime your brain or you hear somebody say, we do it because that's the way we've always done it, like that should be an instant stop, red flag. Like that means that you need to revisit it. And maybe it does still make sense to keep doing it that way, but that should just be one of those internal triggers to go, ooh, there's probably some room for innovation here.
Absolutely. And constantly reviewing. When I come up with a new process or a new way to do something, it's not then set in stone. And I'm not always right. So I'm always looking out at how are others doing things. And that's what's so great about XY is that you don't have to go and find all the answers yourself. You can tap into a collaborative knowledge base of a few thousand and growing people who have tried things already. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can find out what others are doing and what's working for them and what's not working for them. Then you can take those bits and then implement it into your system or just experiment and try new things. And then it's dynamic, it's moving, it's changing. So as you evolve, as your business evolves, make sure that the things that you're doing in your processes, or at least within your experience, your client experience, make sure that's reflecting that as well and adapting and changing and evolving. And, this pandemic is a great example of that. Are you set up to be able to move your meetings to a virtual setting and still be able to share diagrams and walk your clients or prospects through how you operate or the different strategies? I know that that's where a few advisors have struggled, is that they're not having that face-to-face body language or being in the same room as their client has made it difficult for them to pivot and do online meetings to be able to gauge their body language. So it's just constantly thinking, how can we be better? And you don't have to try and do it all on your own. You can leverage the experience and the knowledge of others, figure out what's worked for them, what may not have worked for them, and then pivot and utilize that in your style and how you do things.
So, Emily, with all your experience building a community and, stories about people being vulnerable and saying, hey, does anybody feel like what I'm going through? People sharing stories on what worked for you, what didn't work for you. What are your thoughts on how can advisors build that community with their clients?
Yes. So this is a big topic. This is a very big topic, but it's something that I love very much. And I'm, very, very passionate about. And I think the first thing is when people think that they have to create this huge thing. Like, let's take XY, for example. We started out on Facebook. We grew that to just over 4,000 before transitioning over to our own platform. And that's been a great journey so far. But to build your own community, you don't have to start a Facebook group. You don't have to start your own independent platform. It's not in the medium per se, it's in the how you do it. So you could start a Facebook group if you wanted. You could have your Instagram. You could be building it through LinkedIn or just in the way that you sort of send your emails to your clients. But I like to talk about, instead of just delivering a client experience, deliver a community experience. And it's all the things that I spoke about just before. It's in the little acts of building trust. It's looking for ways to wow your clients. And really, in doing these things, you're doing it with the outcome of building your army of raving fans. So you're creating this concept, or not even a concept, you're creating this situation where your clients champion you and your cause. They are so invested in it that they want to show up, they want to commit. And a great sort of line that I thought of just yesterday actually was, be the Harley Davidson of financial advice. Harley Davidson fans they have the logo tattooed on their arms. Like people
Yeah.
literally have a business brand tattooed on their skin. Like that to me is crazy. But there's a reason for it, because they have built an army of raving fans who believe what they believe, who champion their cause. And just because we are a community of financial advisors, there's no reason this principle can be applied universally, definitely. And it's engaging your clients and making them feel like they are part of the journey, like giving them the opportunity to show up and champion, your cause. And it's through showing them that you value them. So like I said, all the little instances in building trust, my postcard story, it's, there's lots of different examples. It's utilizing video, like I mentioned, to personalize the experience. It could be doing things to become their trusted advisor, not strictly related to finances as well. So, for example, getting your clients together for I know in Australia, Australian advisors, this thing called Lunch and Learn. I don't know if it's something that happens over in the States. But making it fun and engaging and creating this opportunity for your clients to get together and learn something new or something that's going to add value to their lives. Can you champion your clients? So here's a great example. If you send an email update out to your client base, I'd love for you to have a think about how much of it is talking about what you and the business are up to, as opposed to potentially what your clients are up to. So what if we were to flip it on its head? And it doesn't have to be for the entire email, but at least for part of it. Instead of talking about what's happening in your business, why not talk about what's happening with those who make up your business, which is your clients? So did one of your clients have a great win? Did they tick a milestone this month? Can you celebrate that and really highlight the awesome win that they achieved? Obviously, I know with contact details and privacy and whatnot, if you have to generalize or change names, then I totally get that. But highlight to the rest of your client base and your community another client who ticked that milestone, who got that win. That's really powerful stuff as well. Are one of your clients doing something really innovative in their business? Is their business or something that they're doing potentially something that other clients could benefit from? Could you give their business a shout out? Potentially even generating referrals for their business. Being able to connect your clients in that manner, because potentially, maybe one of your clients, I don't know, is a yoga instructor and runs yoga retreats, and maybe another one of your clients' goals is to become a yogi. There's great opportunity to connect them. There's a like-minded commonality there, and you were the person who facilitated that. So I know for me in XY, if I just kind of shift over to explain the way I approach things, I've kind of become or realized that as head of community, I've almost developed this superpower of being this human connector. I have this crazy knack for being able to put people in touch with the right people. And it's purely from a space of getting to know people and better understand them. So when someone joins the community and they are really wanting to, like I said, launch their own business, I can already think of 10 people off the top of my head to introduce them to, who I know have just launched their business or who I know could help in, kickstarting their marketing strategy. And that's literally, I could literally spend all day just introducing people, facilitating introductions. People will reach out to me and they'll say, "Hey, do you know anyone who's like a go-getter in the, estate planning space? Like I really need to refer one of my clients to a great estate planning lawyer." And I can straight away, if I can't introduce them to the right person, there is definitely someone I can introduce them to get the ball rolling or to be able to point them in the right direction. So if you can become that advisor to your clients to facilitate introductions or connections to other areas of their life, then you will become their trusted advisor. And that's going to really help in building your community base and becoming their rock to be able to, let them flourish in other areas of their life rather than just their finances. Because their finances are just one part of the pie, right? And this is what we always come back to. It's money and the finances ultimately are what drive the success of what it is they actually want to achieve in life. Like someone doesn't walk into a advice business and say, I would like to save, $1 million and I'd like to get a return of, 7.8%. They come in and they say, no, I want to create a legacy. I want to be able to leave something for my children. I want to be able to take my family on 2 or 3, trips a year. Like that's the goal. That's what they want to achieve. It's the saving of the money and the getting the return on the investment that's going to help them achieve that. So it's, just being able to amplify that, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And Emily, one of the things I love about XY, I mean, you and I and Clayton, like we're totally aligned on everything. I am just delighted to work with you guys, anything we can collaborate on. And one of the things I love is XY's Global Mandate. So where did that come from?
Well, we've always been globally minded, but it's really since transitioning onto our own platform that it's really amplified. So we really strongly believe there's 2 kind of sides of the coin in advice. There's the side of it which are universal conversations. So around different topics of advice, cash flow, insurance, the strategy sides of things. Like they really are global conversations. And then, of course, there's the sort of more country-specific, the rules, the regulations, and the certain aspects of delivering advice in different countries. So we kicked off our own platform at the start of this year on the 1st of January officially. And it's been phenomenal to welcome so many international advisors and plenty more from Australia and really be able to instigate levels of collaboration that we never thought would be possible. I mean, we always hoped it would be, but to actually watch it play out now is really special. So we have advisors from, South Africa, the UK, the US, New Zealand, coming together in one space into an environment where they can easily collaborate, easily share their ideas, really champion this we mentality as opposed to an I mentality, and be part of the rising tide of boats, I guess, in financial advice, because we can all achieve so much more when we work together than we ever could on our own. And that's really XY's mandate. That's what we've been working towards for the last 5 or 6 years, is really championing collaboration and driving the positive evolution of financial advice. So being able to have this environment where advisors can turn up and learn something new, share something of value, and leave that space having improved their professional lives and done so in a way that's far quicker than they ever could by trying to do it on their own that's the reason we do what we do.
Yeah, and it's super fun to see. I've got a lot of listeners of the Innovating Advice Show, a lot of colleagues that I have around the world that are on the platform. And you and I have been talking for months about me getting sort of my community or group together on XY Advisor. And especially with the whole fantastic new welcome layout, then I'm finally going to be opening my group on XY Advisor and would love to invite listeners of the Innovating Advice Show from all over the world to join the platform. Amazingly, it's free to join. You get to connect with tons of people. I'll invite you into the group. You can find it on there, and just a way to keep the conversation going. I hear from listeners all the time. There's lots of stuff going on in social media, but one of the challenges I've always had is, I'm in a few Facebook groups, and you've got LinkedIn, and there's conversations on Twitter. Like, it's just too many places. So my challenge has been trying to find what's that one central place that I can sort of help to foster the community, be part of the global community. And so in talking with you, I'd love for that to be on the XY platform. So link to that in the show notes. Just join the platform overall, and then hop into the Innovating Advice group on there. So Emily, as we kind of look forward, there's been so much going on. You said just since January of this year, say nothing of like the 5 years before that. I love that I've known XY, I think the whole 6 years. So it's been super fun to watch you guys evolve. So in the last minute or two here, sort of what's coming up for XY?
That's a really good question. For the moment, it's being able to provide this environment and this platform to bring on more advisors globally. So we're really focusing on that at the moment. We host 2 event tours a year, so we'll have our next run of events in Australia at the end of this year. Ultimately, it would be great to expand that to jump ship, I suppose, and host an event in New Zealand or in the UK or the US. So something like that would definitely be on the horizon. And we're also building out our XY Plus. So it's our optional paid membership, which really came about from those wanting to sort of better support the community, but also tap into we're calling it the inner circle. So it's a way to really tap into a highly connected network, fast track professional development, and take advantage of a bunch of different benefits and perks. So really looking to ramp that up, but really just continue championing and facilitating this environment for amazing collaboration and working together as a collective of like-minded professionals to really drive the positive evolution of financial advice.
That is awesome. Yeah, and tons of value in that XY Plus co-op and totally reasonably priced. Like I looked into it and I was like, this is fantastic. I mean, that's one of the other things. Not only do you guys have, the free platform for everyone, but even the things that you do. I mean, I paid and joined the virtual events that happened over the last couple of months and XY Plus, and you guys are just bringing so much value at such an affordable price. And again, I think that's another great example setting for advisors out there of how they can reach so many people and provide accessible and affordable advice, leveraging technology in a really personal way. So, Emily, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for what you're doing at XY. Thank you for joining me the other week on the Global Commute that we did, and you were a co-host. And we'll definitely have you on the show again because lots more to talk about, lots more to dive into.
Oh, yes, there's a lot we could unpack. So yeah, thank you, Kate. It was so great to chat. We'll, let's do this again soon.
Awesome. Thanks for listening to the Innovating Advice Show. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure to connect with me on LinkedIn and shoot me a thought or two. Link to my profile is right below. Stay safe, stay well, and I look forward to hearing from you.